Hey, what's up? I'm going to talk about buying technology that is new and on the cutting edge and why I think it's really never really a good idea. I think there's a misconception in our culture that you always have to be on the cutting edge and buy things when they first come out and, be the most technologically advanced person you know. When in reality, when you really think about it, it makes a lot less sense to do that. It makes no sense if you ask me, because usually technology when it first comes out is a lot less uh, refined than it is after it's been out for a few years and has been improved. And you see this with a lot of things. I'll just give you an example. My mom's friend bought this house that like a really rich person owned, and in the 1980s he bought this thing that was like this giant CD changer system that cost something like $20,000, and it would you'd have it could hold thousands of CDs and it would change them like as you push a button or whatever. So I mean, in the '80s, that was probably cutting edge technology. It might have been, early '80s probably, mid '80s. I don't remember. I don't know exactly when the CD came out, but at the time that was the cutting edge technology. But in reality, when you think about it, he just spent $20,000 on something that, if he had waited a little bit, could have gotten, something a lot cheaper that, like a computer that you could just play music on anyway, and does the exact same thing and is a hell of a lot cheaper. Um, I think, to a lesser degree, of course, I think the same thing goes for video games. I never understood why anyone would buy a game when it first come out, or worse, pre-order a game. That makes even less sense. Because when games first come out, they're always full of bugs and they're more money. So you're paying more money getting something that's often less playable. Perfect example being my favorite game series, the Fallout series. All the Fallout games have always been full of bugs when they first came out. Not just Fallout New Vegas. That's the one people always complain about. But all the Fallout games, Fallout 1 and 2, had some of just game-breaking bugs in them when they first came out. And then over time they fixed them, and even the bugs that are not fixed by the developer are eventually fixed by the community. So, I mean, you could have bought Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 when it first came out, or Fallout 3, and had to suffer through the bugs, or you could have waited and bought it when it was a lot cheaper. Fallout New Vegas was like $10 on a Steam deal at one time, and then gotten a better game with more playability. And on top of that, if you factor in mods and community add-ons into the equation, you're getting more gameplay. Another example is a game called Neverwinter Nights, which was honestly not that great of a game as in a single-player game, but it came with a tool set, and it allowed people to make mods for it. And some of the mods that have come out for it are very good. And so if you buy it now, you're getting something that has thousands and thousands of mods made for it, which means really endless replay value, and some of them are a hell of a lot better, than the campaign that BioWare made for it. So you could have paid $50 for a honestly somewhat broken game, or you could pay $10 for a game that has like pretty much endless replay value. So I mean, I really you're not really getting anything when you buy a new game. You're getting less in many cases. I guess the only reason I can understand is with multiplayer games, because obviously when a game first comes out, there's going to be a lot of new players on it. There's going to be more players. The player base might eventually die down, and then the publisher or developer might take things out or change the game in a way that makes it suck. Apparently, Star Wars Galaxies was like that. I never play MMOs, so I really am clueless about that. But I mean, even then, like when Battlefield Bad Company 2 first came out, it was one of the few games I got when it first came out. It was terrible. Like bugs everywhere. The game barely worked at all. No one who was playing it knew how to play. Some of the weapons were just extremely overpowered. It was not really a good game. And then a few months later, they started releasing patches for it, and now I think it's a great game. You know, whether you like it or not. So I mean, I just wonder, like, why would you buy a new game? You know, why would you pay more money to get something that is sometimes rushed to, you know, make a certain deadline and doesn't play as well, instead of waiting for something, you know, waiting for the price to go down and then buying it, and, you know, sometimes in many cases getting a better, more refined product.